Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. Today's part 11 of the association database. In part 10, we made groups, and inside each group type, you can see the list of groups like families, companies, interests, all that stuff. And we made it so you could pick a group and see all the people that were in it. Today, we're going to go backwards. We're going to make it so you can go to the persons form and see what groups they're in, what family they belong to, what their interests are, and so on. So we're going to go in the reverse of the last one. Strap yourselves in today, folks, because today's lesson is going to be a good one, but it's a little complicated, so you might have to watch it more than once to get everything. All right, today's one of those lessons that I wanted to actually run through it first myself real quick, just to make sure I don't have any major screw-ups. Sometimes I leave intentional screw-ups in my videos so you can see the mistakes that I make, but I also don't want to fumble around like an idiot. So I've done this before in my ABCD video, for example, and a couple of developer lessons, but it's been a little while. So here's what it's going to look like. Here's the person list. Okay, go to a person. Notice we're adding another tab across the top here, groups. We're going to set the default to family, and now you can see a person can belong to multiple families if you want to put this person in two families. Want to change the group type? Drop this combo box down. Pick company. Right? Drop it down again. There's interest. So now you can see you can have any number of group types in your group lists. You want to add more of these? Just go to your helper table. Add another one of these. Okay. Want to add a different interest in here? Drop it down. Pick something else. And there's one thing I didn't edit this combo box to limit this to just interest. So we'll do that in this class too. But this is my quick run through just to show you what it's going to be like. All right, there, I fixed it. Drop it down. Now it's just got interests. Okay, drop this down. Go to clubs. Got D&D club. Right. Drop it down. Go to companies. Got a list of companies. Okay. Again, this was just my quick run through. So let's go ahead and build this together. I'm looking at this is a lot of stuff in this lesson, so we might need to break this up into multiple lessons. But we're going to do as much as we can. I try to keep these to about 10 to 15 minutes. So let's get started. I'm going to close that. We'll take our 10 database, right click, drag, copy it over here, make it 11. All right, now follow with me, folks. And like I said, if you got to watch this multiple times to get it all, don't be afraid. This is expert level stuff with a little developer sprinkled in. So this is not easy stuff, folks. All right, so we need a subform to go on our person form over here, right? Like I showed you before. So let's copy our continuous form, this thing, right? We'll copy this, Control C, Control V. We will call this our person X group F. All right, our person X group, because we're going the opposite way. The other one was a group X person. This one's person X group. We're starting with the person, and we're showing groups. Open it up in Design View. We're going to set let's do the colors first. Always got to do the colors first, folks. Very important. And usually I stick away from theme colors, but just to keep things simple, I'm using them for these lessons. All right. Okay, so now we don't need these, and we don't need that. Get rid of that. And we're actually going to get rid of this too. We'll leave it there for a second. Let's change the record source to the person X group T. It's where we're getting all of our data from. Okay. All right. Save that, close it, and open it up. And that's, you got a bunch of blank records. Okay. There should be exactly the same number of records as you have in the table, which is 26. Now picture this as a subform inside the person form. What do you want to be displayed here? You want the list of groups to be displayed there. So we're going to make a combo box to display the groups. Okay, so Design View, get rid of this guy, and we're going to put a combo box here to display the groups. All right, get the values from table or query, get it from group table. We need the group ID and the description. Next. We're going to sort by description. Next. That's what it's going to look like, and it'll show all of them for now, yes, until we filter it later. That's the thing I forgot to do at the end of my preview thing that I was showing you. All right, next. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to store that value. We're going to pick a group, and we're going to store it in the group ID in the junction table. Okay, next, because we can add and edit and delete and all kinds of stuff in here. What label do you want? Doesn't matter. We're going to delete it. Goodbye. All right, slide this up and make it bigger. And bring the bottom up. Save it. Close it. Open it up. And now you should see a record for all of the group records. Right? For all this should match the junction table one for one. All right, 26 records, 26 records. Okay. Now, I can put this in right now as a subform because this is based on the junction table, person X group T, and the junction table knows about the person ID. You don't always necessarily have to have it on the form as long as it's part of the record source underneath it. All right, so it knows about person ID, so we should be able to make it a subform right now. Now, to do that, all we have to do is open this up, and we're going to make another one of these fancy labels. Remember this guy? Copy, paste, slide it over here. Let's open up the properties for it. All right, it's a label 45. We'll change that in a second. All right, we're going to go to all. This will be the caption will be groups. This will be the group label. Let's make it nice and short. Doesn't need to be that big. You can put it in front if you want. It's up to you if you want to make this the first default tab. Change that color, make it green. Okay. Now, what kind of code do we use to switch? Well, let's do a brief review. Event, on click. What is that on click event? It's real simple. It's one line, right? Oh, and notice this. There's some family combo code in here. All right. We need to go through the whole database and just do a quick search for family. Anywhere we see that in our VBA code and delete it. I'll put a note to that on our to-do list. There might be a few things bouncing around. That's okay. All right, so this is all we need is subform control dot source object equals and that. Okay, so we're going to come over here, go to our groups, go to the on-click event, dot, drop that in there. And what's the name of the form? It is the person X group F. Save it, close it, open it back up again, click, and there we go. All right, it's looking good so far. There's all of the groups that I am in. Ross, Trekkie, Amacron, Book Club, Firefly, Star Wars. Okay, let's go to somebody else. Let's go to Jean-Luc. All right, there you are. Boom. There's the groups that he's in. And yes, my Roomba vacuum just kicked on. I got one of those cool Roombas that goes around, and it goes, when it's done, it goes back to the base station, and the base station sucks all the junk out of the Roomba, and it fills up in a bag. So you only have to change it like once a week. It's pretty cool. I like it. I highly recommend it. I went through 2 or 3 of them, though, I will say that. But Roomba's customer service was excellent, and they made me happy, and I just returned it, and they sent me another one, and finally we got one that works. So it would get stuck everywhere. It would stop where it would just sit in the middle of the floor. Oh, this is not a Roomba commercial. I love my Roomba, but that's what you just heard. Okay. All right. So anyways, what we're seeing here is we're seeing everything that this person is in, all the groups. Now we're going to add a combo box to filter this list by group type, right? Family, company, interests. So you'll pick the group, then in here you'll pick a combo box, and then you'll be able to filter that by their group types. So let's go back. I like to work right in the source. So let's go back to this guy, design view. Okay. Now I need a combo box here, and the combo box is going to let me pick a group type, one of the ones that are in there. So the group type is going to be from my helper table, right? Helper table, there it is. And it's going to be any helper T record of type 9. Okay. Now, this will be the second time I've had to write this SQL. So you know what? I'm going to make a query out of this because it's something that I think we're going to use a lot. So I'm just going to go create query design. All right. Bring in helper T. And I want the helper ID, helper type T, helper value. You'll see why I'm bringing them in like that in a second. And I want the helper type ID to be 9. And I want to sort by helper value. All right. I'm going to save this as my group type queue because I'm going to be using this list often. It's a list of group types. Now I can just call group type queue. Remember when we did the last lesson, we made a really complicated SQL statement to pull this guy, but now I just I thought of it last time after the lesson was over. I'm like, we might as well just do it, make a query out of it. Okay. So now I got the query that I need to make the group type combo box up here, right? Form design. Combo box, drop it right there. Look up the values in the table or query. Queries, group type Q. Right? Otherwise, you're writing SQL to select from the helper type where the helper type ID is 9. It's easy to just see. I try to avoid writing lots of queries if possible, but they have their place. There's a reason for them. That's one of them, to make complicated SQL that you're going to be using a lot easier. All right, and we don't need the helper type ID. No, we don't need that one in this one. Okay, next. We're going to sort it by helper value. Next. That's what it's going to look like. We don't have, this is based on a query, so we don't get the little checkbox here to hide the ID column. That's okay. Next. All right, that's the bound field. Next. Where do you want to put it? We don't want to just hang on to it for later use. We're not storing it anywhere. We're just going to use this value to filter this list of records. Next. Label is going to go away. Next. Delete it. Let's make this guy bigger and more important looking like I did in my run through. Bring it out to maybe there. Make it a wee bit taller, like that. I changed the font a little bit bigger. What did I do? 14 point? Yeah, bold. A little bit of background color. Okay, looks good. A little bit later, a little bit later. Maybe that. Okay, that's good. All right. So this doesn't have to be quite so big. Come on. Yeah, we don't need a footer for this one. All right, so save that, close it. And now let's go back in here, open it up, and there's our combo box to filter. Okay. It's not actually working yet. We haven't actually plugged it in yet, but it's there. We're getting there. We're getting there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this thing a default value. So when I click on groups and it opens up, right, we'll come in here and click on groups. This is going to start on whatever you think you're going to use the most. I think family should be the default. So the helper type ID for family, I think it's 58. All right, 58 right there. So we're going to make the default value 58. So in the combo box, design view, you're not combo 6 either. You're going to be group, come here, group type combo. And your default value under data is going to be 58. Okay, that way when you open it up, you come to it, you're going to start on family. We still have to tie it into filter, but that's what it's going to start off at. Okay, everybody with me? Okay. All right, now I want to use this to filter this, but there's one problem that we have. This is the group type ID, which is also a helper type ID or helper ID. Okay, this list of records is based on the junction table, and unfortunately, the junction table knows nothing about the group type ID. Okay, so we have to make a query and add into it the same stuff here, but just add the group type ID. Okay, because these records down here don't know what it is. They're just getting that from the combo boxes. So we need another query. Create query design. We need to bring in the junction table. Then the group table, because we have to link it to that group type ID right there. And you could, if you want to, you could bring in the helper table if you want to see the helper value in the query, but I don't. We don't really need it in here. So I'm going to bring in the star for that, and then group type ID. Okay, and we're going to save this as my person X group subform queue. This is we already have a person X group queue. So this is going to be specifically for that subform. All right, hit OK. And if you run it now, you'll see exactly what we got. And now we know what the group type ID is for each of the records. So now I can filter based on that. Are you with me? Okay. Told you this is a complicated one. Okay. Now I have to change the record source for this guy to that query. So this will now be the subform. Okay. And it should look the same. Nothing should appear to have changed. If we go back in here. Okay, same stuff. We haven't actually applied the filter yet, but now these records know what group type they belong to. right? This knows it's a company. This knows it's a family. All right, now the next step is going to be making it so that we only see the records in here for that specific group type. Okay, to do that, we're going to modify the query. So let's go back to the query. Let's close this. Let's go back to the query. Design view. All right. And this group type ID, we're going to give it a criteria. And we're going to say this group type ID should only be records where it equals that filter combo box we created. Right? And what's the name of that filter combo box? Let's go back in here. I know I keep jumping around back and forth. There's a lot to show you, right? It's people F, forms people F. This thing is the subform control. This thing is called the group type combo. So it's going to be forms, people F, subform control, or subform control dot form, exclamation point, group type combo. And we'll put that in here. All right. It's going to be equals forms, person F, subform control is the name of the control, dot form, exclamation point, group type combo. You got all that? If you don't know what this is, go watch this video, value from an open form. Talk about how to get a value from a subform too. It's really crazy. Okay. All right, hit OK. Save the query. Now let's go back to the form. And, okay. All right, now I'm not seeing anything. That's weird. Let's try someone else. No. Okay. All right. Let's open that query up and see what's going on. Oh, wait a minute. I see it in there now. Okay. There's data in there now. Right? It's person ID, okay. All right. Okay. What's going on? All right. Here's the problem. And I ran into this myself when I was going through my run through, and it refreshed my memory on what I need to do to teach you how to fix this. The problem is that the query is trying to load up and get its default value before this form is finished loading. So it has no value it can get here. So that value becomes a null and it doesn't show you any records. So what you have to do is in this button, all right, this label code, when this thing loads up this form, it has to let it finish loading and then requery it. I know it's weird, but that's just the way you got to do it. This form has to load. Right? The record set will load with no records in it. Then you requery it. Now, when you requery it, the combo box has a value at this point, and you'll get your records. Don't believe me? Here we go. Ready? Right click, build event. Right after this line here, okay, that's going to load up the form. Now, literally, all you have to say here is subform control dot requery. That's it. That will force the records to load a second time. Now they've got a value. All right. Yeah, there's a really complicated way you could do this with just one pass, but this works just fine. I've been doing it for years. All right. Ready? Double click. Groups. Bam. There's my family. Same. Jean-Luc. Bam. Bam. I premature bammed there. All right. Okay. So the button loads the form. The form has nothing in this default value yet. All right. No records load because the query says, nothing in there. Can't do it. Okay. Then the default value is assigned, and you're telling it now requery, and it can pull in the query can pull in the stuff. Okay. Yeah, we're running a little over time than I wanted to be, but you know I'm in the mood to keep finishing this one. We'll finish this in one lesson. Okay. Next problem is now when I change this guy to a different group type, this doesn't requery. Okay. Easy fix. We just need to put some code in this combo box. So when we change it, it refreshes that list. So come back in here, design view. This guy. Okay, open up its properties, go to events, go to after update. This is going to run when you change the value in this combo box. This one's going to be a me.requery. That'll force the form, the whole form, me, to requery. Save that, close it. Open it up, go to groups, change it to interests. Bam, there's his interests. Go to me, groups, default family loads, Go to interests. There's all my interests. Isn't that cute? All right. Now, next up is the problem that I had in the preview video before at the beginning of this video when I showed you. If you go to add another interest, drop this down, everything is showing up in here from all the different group types. So now we just need to modify this combo box to recognize that filter. All right. So design view. Actually, we got to close it. I keep going into design view thinking that, but it's going to load up the default subform. So no, we got to go right back to here. Design view. Open up this guy's properties. All right. Now, first of all, it's called combo 4. We don't like that. All right. This is going to be the group combo. Okay. And your data, let's take a look at the data. All right. First things first, let's simplify this. We only need group ID and description from group T, order by description. Okay. What I need in here is a where condition. All right. I need to say where the group type ID equals the group type combo that's on top of this form. Because group T has the group type ID field in it, and group type combo is a combo box on this form. So hit OK, save it, close it, open it, drop this down, and now you see just a list of families. Okay. Change it again to interests. Oh, no, look what happened now. Okay. What happened now is when this form initially loaded, okay, you had a list of families because family was the value there. This combo box also needs to tell these combo boxes to requery. I know. See, you find one thing and you got to fix two more. One of the reasons I wanted to run through this the first time without you guys. So now this guy also needs in his after update event, you got a me.requery and you got a group combo.requery. Because you're going to load a whole new list of stuff, whole new list of records from a different group. You got to requery that combo box too. So it's got the proper list of values. And now go to groups. There's a list of families. Drop this down. Interests. It requeries that. And now you'll see just a list of interests down here. Okay. And yes, as of right now, there's no way to prevent them from adding the same interest twice, 3 times. If you want to do that, you could do it with a composite query. I'm sorry, a composite key. It's called composite key. Here's a video on it. I'll put a link down below. I will be adding this to the outline, so we'll add this feature eventually to this database because that's a pretty big thing. Because if you're going to be basing mailing lists on families or people with particular interests, if they're in the same group 3 times, then it'll create 3 mailing labels for them. So you don't want that. So we'll add that. We'll put that on the list and change that in a future version. But if you're impatient and you want to do it right now, go ahead and do it now. But there you go. That's how you do it. Now we can go both ways. Now we've got, and you know what? We got to put the button on here. We got to change a button on here too. Design view, this family list. We're going to go groups. We're going to put person list on top because that's kind of like the main thing. Then we got groups. We'll change this to the group button. Right click, build event, and notice it was, where's the family? Here's the family list. We'll get rid of that. Delete, delete. And this will be just do command.openForm. Oh, what was the name of it? Group. Was it group type F? Yeah, I think it was group type F. Group type F. Save it. Close it. Open it. Groups. Bang. There's that big thing. See, if you want to go and get the big list of families, there you go. There's a list of families and who's in it. You could do this. I was thinking there's like 5 different ways you could do this. You could do this just with a series of continuous forms that open other continuous forms. Like this is one form. This is another form. This is another form. You open one. It opens the next one. It opens the next one. That's kind of boring. So I figured I wanted to show you something cool. Just like this, right? This you could do with multiple forms. But again, this is a neat technique. I like to show it. It's pretty cool. I do this in a couple of my different videos. While I'm thinking about it, let's do that search out here. Let's do a Control F to find. We're going to look for family. See if there's any other family codes sprouting around. Click on current project. That will search all of the VBA everywhere in the database. Find. All right, didn't find any. I must have caught it all. We deleted some forms too, so that had some help. That had some family stuff in it. Debug, compile, never a bad idea. And yeah, I think we're good. All right, so I lied. We're almost at a half an hour. Okay. Well, I've been trying to keep these fast tips fast. These are supposed to be like 10 minutes a piece. And I could be cheesy and spread them out and break this. And I could have broke this into 3 different lessons. But I hate breaking stride when I'm in the middle of showing you how to do something and that something's going to take a while. I'd rather just make a longer lesson. I don't know. Don't be like that guy that said that you want more breaks. You could just press pause anytime you want. He and I still laugh about that. But yeah, there you go. That's your fast tip for today. That's a lot of stuff in that video. That's more advanced than I was planning on it being, but you guys said in the poll you wanted some more advanced developer type stuff. There you go. That's your fast tip for today. Live long and prosper, folks, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, 1 free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get 1 free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and 1 free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.